What's happening, traders and investors? It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Today is Tuesday, October 18th. Hope you're well. And in this video, going to be going over Netflix's earnings. They just released it after market close. They had a huge earnings beat, and stock was up about 15% after hours. Also, next up is Tesla after market close tomorrow. But obviously, helping the broader market, the Netflix results, and SPY was up as well, about 374 after hours. So we're going to take a look at the Netflix earnings. Before we get to it though, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. So Netflix adds more than 2.4 million subscribers and beats on revenue and EPS. They also revealed details about password sharing crackdown, which is obviously going to help revenues. But essentially, they were expecting 2.13 per share in terms of EPS, and it came in at 310. And revenue was 7.93 billion versus 7.837 billion expected. An addition of 2.41 million subscribers versus an addition of 1.09 million subscribers as the estimate. So huge beat. Reason why the stock is up massive, about 15% after hours, obviously helping the broader market as well. Next on deck will be Tesla earnings tomorrow after market close. We're anticipating for EPS positive 1.03 and revenue is forecasted at 22.5 billion. So this is looking really good. Like I said, SPY is up about 0.75% after hours, sitting at about 373, just under 374 now. And if we take a look at Netflix, we're sitting at 275 here after hours. We were up about 15% at one point, and we have yet to confirm a daily uptrend. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did start to pull back after tomorrow, but it's entirely possible that we hold these gains overnight and that we see a gap up into tomorrow and then a sell-off. It's possible that we gap up tomorrow and then back test these EMAs here somewhere around 235 to 230s. Wouldn't be surprised if we did pull back, and if we did, it would just be healthy. We'd just be looking for a daily higher low, and Bull's got a ton of room. Just from the low of the day today, we could drop about 11% and just be looking for a daily higher low. But again, we still have yet to confirm a daily uptrend. If we take a look at the weekly time frame, we're back above the 10-week moving average. We could see a bull cross here on the stochastic, and the MACD is extremely bullish still as well in terms of the weekly time frame. So what I want to see is a weekly candle close this week over the 10-week moving average, and that's sitting at 232.17 to remain bullish. But essentially, we have no resistance all the way up to about 396.50 on the weekly time frame here on Netflix. Also, in terms of the weekly moving averages, we did have a bear cross of the 50 coming down through the 100 and the 200 weekly moving average, and it's on the weekly time frame, so that's even more bearish. And you can see here when those moving averages were set to cross and have that bear cross, you can see here we had a ton of downside as a result. But we're beaten down. We were seriously beaten down. Very oversold. So not surprised to see us be bouncing this hard after hours because of how beaten down we were and because of the size of the beat after hours. This is looking really good in terms of tech stocks, the broader market. We could even be gearing up here for a golden cross. So we had a bull cross of the 50 and the 100, but when the 50 is below the 200-day moving average and it crosses up below it, crosses through it, that's called a golden cross. So we're very close to seeing that happen, but watch 282.84 to be strong resistance on on Netflix. But like I said, after hours, we're sitting at about 275. So it's entirely possible that we gap up to around that 200-day moving average. We kiss that and then come down, form a daily higher low. It'll just be healthy. And then on that daily higher low might be a good entry to add on that daily higher low as we look to potentially see a golden cross, which would also provide a lot more upside. You can see what happened here when the 50-day was above the 200, it came down through it and crossed. That's called a death cross. And if you just exited there when that occurred, that was at about 450. And then we went all the way down to about 150. So that was a massive warning sign and sell signal that went off on that death cross. But like I said, we're gearing up for a potential golden cross, and with SPY due to potentially set a bottom here over the next couple of weeks. Again, still yet to confirm a daily uptrend on SPY, so we're still extremely weak at the moment in terms of the weekly and the monthly. We're still in downtrends on the weekly and monthly time frame, but we just need to start with one time frame at a time. If we can get back into a daily uptrend, we zoom out to the weekly, and then we look for a weekly higher low, but not ruling out the fact that SPY could see one more leg down. And if we do see more weakness in SPY, that would obviously be headwinds for Netflix here and would give us that daily higher low. We still need to confirm that daily uptrend, but tons of room to do so on Netflix. But it's looking really good after that brutal beatdown from the highs of the beginning of the year. Netflix was down to over 80%, I believe. If we just zoom out here to the monthly, from the all-time high to the low, we were down about 77%, so almost 80%. And at the moment, it is a potential monthly bear flag. Anything under 366.93, wow, is a potential monthly bear flag. I doubt that it's going to follow through just because of the amount of downside that we've seen. I would anticipate that we more than likely come back up and negate that, but that's what I'm looking at here at the moment. We were monthly oversold, heavily oversold on the weekly time frame as well. We were down in the teens there in the RSI, heavily oversold. So great entry. I mentioned a couple times we had 162.71 and then we hit 164.28. That was a great opportunity to add, potentially looking to bottom fish that, and essentially a double bottom by a couple dollars. And we could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross here on the EMAs, which would insinuate more upside. So look for that to potentially see a cross here into the next couple of days and potentially into next week. But like I said, we have no weekly resistance all the way up to 396.50. So we could see a lot more upside from here, and we're nowhere near weekly overbought still at this point either. So we have a lack of resistance and looking like we could see a lot more upside. Tesla, like I said, we'll be watching tomorrow. I did take a trade on Tesla as well, but all eyes on Tesla earnings tomorrow to give the market some more momentum potentially. If we do beat, like I said, this will add tailwinds to the broader market, and obviously with SPY having such a heavy weight of Tesla in that index, it could bode well for the overall broader market here as well. But we still haven't yet confirmed a daily uptrend, and we're topping out at EMA 12. I mentioned a couple of days ago that I did take a trade in Tesla. I entered here on the 13th, and I was looking at nailing the bottom off 200 psychological. I filled at 208. The low of the day was 206.22. Then the next day I set my stop at just under 200 at 198. The next day we hit 204, but we had a high of the day at 226. And I said I'd look to be taking profit around 240, 250 is where I'd start to scale out. And then yesterday we still didn't stop out. So we hit a low of 209, and then today we hit a higher high at 229.82. So again, still yet to confirm a daily uptrend, but I'm still in this trade with a stop below 200, and we could potentially see more upside with Netflix adding some momentum to the broader market, helping SPY, obviously going to potentially help Tesla out as well, with the broader market seeing some bullish momentum here after hours, potentially into tomorrow. But look for a test of EMA 26 there. We also have a gap on Tesla at 262.47. So I'm going to look to lock in some profit. First take profit will be 240, then probably again around 250, and then again around 260 as we look for that gap fill. All right, going to end it there. Thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. Let me know if you're bullish on Netflix earnings tomorrow after hours. Personally, I don't hold any, Tesla earnings tomorrow after hours. Personally, I don't hold any Tesla at the moment. It is saying that we could potentially see a new lower low on the weekly and monthly time frame. I'd be targeting around 100 or a flush thereof on Tesla for any long-term entries. But like I said, I do have a small day trade position on Tesla. I'm not looking to hold it for very long, but I'm not in it for the long term. This is just a swing trade for me, a couple weeks at the most. And like I said, could potentially look to exit tomorrow as we see some upside leading into those earnings, as people anticipate those earnings. So if we do run into earnings tomorrow, expect, we're going to have to really beat those earnings in order to see continuation to the upside. If we come in, if we run hard into those earnings and we see earnings come in line with estimates, then we could potentially see a bit of a sell-off. And if it misses and we run pretty hard into those earnings, then we could see a pretty big pullback on Tesla. So I'm going to be quick to lock in any profits. And I know a couple of people followed me on that trade. So congrats to the bulls, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. All right, going to end it there. Thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rob with Powell Group, and we'll see you in the next video.